A Town Called Panic is a 2009 stop-motion film from Belgium that was originally a miniseries with 20 individual 5-minute segments, all centering around the wacky antics of the three flatmates Cowboy, Indian, and Horse, as well as all the citizens of this village. The show originally aired from 2002 to 2003 in the European region, and in between working on this project, the two creators, Stéphane Aubier and Vincent Pattard, would also co-direct the heartwarming 2D animated film Ernest and Celestine, which premiered in 2012. But this film, and the series, even with its limited fanbase outside of Europe, is without a doubt their biggest passion project. This movie is absolute insanity, unmitigated madness, zaniness in its purest form. In many respects, it's kind of hard to review considering this is by and large and then storytelling. There's cause and effect here and there, but it's all built on randomness and absurdity, which in this particular case is not a bad thing. While there's not really any discernible substance for me to dissect in terms of plot, character, and theme, the film isn't trying to say or be anything deep, profound, or poignant. It just has one simple goal: to make you laugh. Everything that happens in this movie is done for the sole purpose of generating the most knee-slapping animated slapstick ever put to film, and I must admit, it's quite effective. The story, if you can call it that, is its horse's birthday, but Cowboy and Indian forgot, so they decide to order some bricks to make a barbecue for him. But they accidentally order 50 million bricks, oh ho ho ho. So without Horse knowing, they stack all the remaining bricks on top of the house. That eventually destroys the house, and oh my goodness, there are just so many bricks everywhere. And then the Atlanteans, yes, Atlanteans, decide to steal the house's walls and make it their own. Then, our three heroes travel to the ocean depths to retrieve their house walls. But then there's a giant robot penguin with asshole scientists inside throwing snowballs at animals. So we gotta defeat those guys first. They manage to escape the scientists' clutches and head back to the ocean where Horse disguises himself as Santa to get the house walls back from the Atlanteans. But then a chase scene ensues and they end up back at the homestead where an all-out war between the Atlanteans and the village takes place, and the entire homestead is obliterated. But don't worry, because 1 year later it's all good and everyone is friends with each other. Yay! See what I mean? The story is just nonsense. And while I can't say this is a masterwork of writing, I can say it's an exceptional work of comedy. And a big part of that is the animation. The crude toy box nature of these characters and sets has, admittedly, copious amounts of juvenile charm. The sheer amount of ridiculous poses they had to make for these characters alone makes me laugh. The movie really does feel like a bunch of kids playing make-believe, and as a result, there are some exemplary pieces of cartoon brilliance.
Oh, elle était délicieuse cette tarte. Excellent café.
The dynamic between our three leads is also very charming. They operate as a dysfunctional family, with Horse being the responsible one, always having to deal with the aftermath of Cowboy and Indian's immature and impulsive behavior. It's a humorous rapport that's the comedic core of the film. Cowboy and Indian have a very sibling-esque relationship that usually involves them working towards a ludicrous goal, causing absolute pandemonium in the process. And with Horse being the straight man to all this mayhem, it balances out the insanity quite well. It's very fun character interaction that I can definitely see exploring many comedic concepts in the very show this film is based on. Now, admittedly, I haven't watched the show before seeing this film, but to be fair, You don't need much context going into this universe. My favorite character, though, is Steven, who just screams everything all the time. He even says the most polite things in such an aggressive manner, like, my goodness. This is definitely a very entertaining and hilarious film, but unfortunately, I confess I don't have much else to say about it. That's why it's getting such a short assessment. I wanted to talk about it though, because it did leave quite the impression on me. Even though it doesn't offer anything meaty or substantial in terms of good writing, it also doesn't try to be anything it's not, and I respect it for that. If this film did suddenly get serious and try to preach some kind of lesson to the audience, it would feel so out of place and jarring. It's an unpretentious, uncompromising, unpredictable romp that left me in stitches as well as a good fucking mood after the fact. It's truly a delightful experience. And wouldn't you know it, it's on YouTube. Free to watch. Link in the description. Give it a go. It's only an hour and 17 minutes. And that's all I got for you today. I'll have a much more detailed video for you next time, but for now, I just wanted to get my quick thoughts out on this charming little film. Happy birthday.